All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners. This one is a phenomenal one coming your way, and this individual needs no introduction. He is a multi-platinum DJ, award winner, and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. This man is DJ Yella of N.W.A. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, pretty good. Real good.
I gotta say, first and foremost, Yella, I have been a fan for so many years, man. So thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening and just sharing some amazing, stories of your amazing career.
Oh, I mean, I thank you for having me, especially all the way from Canada. So, thank you.
But Yella, I know you're a very busy guy, man. You know, so I want to bring you right back to the beginning, man. Before N.W.A, back when you were a member of the legendary world-class Wreckin Cru, and I was wondering if you can break down the story of that amazing group, and of course, how did you actually become a member of that group initially?
I was well, the group started off as just being a DJ in a club. The owner Alonzo had a club called the Eve After Dark back then. And this guy brought me along, and I got, they hired me to DJ, so I ended up being the main DJ after 1 week, spinning. And then, we did mixes and stuff like that. And, I think a couple of years later, Dre came along. I met him, and we hooked up, and we started being the hottest DJs. And then we ended up started going to doing music. Matter of fact, me and Clientele, one of the members, did the first song ever. A little song called Splice, and Dre came out a little bit later with his one called Surgery. So that was the beginning of our music career right there.
And I gotta say as well, man, the world-class Wreckin Cru, in my personal opinion, will always be solidified within hip-hop history, man. You guys were doing some phenomenal things with Lonzo, man. Like, I have to ask, man, what was it like actually working with Lonzo Williams?
Well, basically, me, Dre, and Clientele did all the work. Alonzo was more like the overseer or something. But the younger guys, which was us three, we did all the work, made all the songs, did all the music, did everything. So, I mean, it was fun because we was DJs. I was DJs there, in the club first. So, it was pretty cool.
And I gotta ask as well, because obviously with the Straight Outta Compton movie, you know what I mean? Because obviously, your character was in that. Did Lonzo actually ever get upset, in real life, when you played hip hop in the club? Because I know Hollywood sometimes is much different than real life.
Nah. The club was a hip hop club. It was a teenage club. I think 16 to 18 or something like that. So we played hip hop all the time. Run DMC, Beastie Boys, whatever. We played it all. So, yeah, it was a hip-hop club. That was just for the movie, just, to make it give it a little excitement. Because the thing was, Lonzo was older than us. So, he seemed old to us. So that's why they made it look like that in the movie.
And also, in the late 1980s, you actually did production work for the legendary J.J. Fad over at Ruthless Records. I was wondering, what made Eazy-E actually sign J.J. Fad? And, of course, what was it like working with those three talented ladies in the studio?
Yeah, I mean, they was pretty good. I mean, Arabian Prince brung them around because he had made the first original single, Supersonic, which was on Dream Team Records, which is the LA Dream Team. They was there first, but whatever happened, we ended up with the group. So me and Dre, and co-produced by Arabian, we did the album, and people don't really realize that was Ruthless' first gold single and first gold album for Ruthless. It was fun. The girls was, easy to learn. People write their words, DOC or whoever wrote their words, and we just knocked it out. It didn't take very long to do that album.
And I gotta say as well, the Supersonic record, man, my favorite song will always be Let's Get Hyped, man. I don't know, it's always one of my favorite joints.
Yeah. That was a more hipper one. Because, they was more, I don't know what kind of music you call dance or whatever it is, but yeah, Let's Get Hyped was the more hip-hop version of them. And that song was also used in the movie Coming to America.
And also, as well, going into the N.W.A. side of things, I read an article a while back stating that Fuck the Police almost didn't actually make Straight Outta Compton. I was wondering, what's the story behind that? And of course, what actually made you guys initially put it on the record put it on the record when you guys were initially doubting it?
We just made what go on normally in our neighborhoods, in the ghetto. You know, the police harass, us. They used to harass us or younger people and all that, so we just made a song about them. We just made a song that everybody wanted to point the finger at them, but they just never did it. And we didn't create it. It was already happening years before us, from the 60s and the 70s. So we just was bold enough to make it and put it out. But we didn't make it for it to be controversial or nothing like that. We just made the song because we just wanted to make it, because we liked it. So it caught on, it just caught on for some reason.
And even to this day, Fuck the Police is still such a relevant song, especially last year with the tragic incidents of George Floyd and whatnot that happened, man. That song's still relevant and always will be.
Oh, yeah, it was like the #1 downloaded song in the world last summer. It was just like, wow, this song is 30 years old, but it's like the song was ahead of its time. It's talking about stuff that's happening now, all over the world, not just in Compton, but just in the ghettos in the States. It's all over. There's ghettos everywhere in the world, and the same thing is happening. So that's why that song is still irrelevant today.
And the one thing I gotta ask about that, because when I read that article a while back, I sat back and I actually tried to picture this myself. Like, do you think that, like, if you guys didn't initially put that song on Straight Outta Compton, do you think that album would still be as big as it is today?
I think it would. I mean, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to picture without that song. But Straight Outta Compton, the initial song, is what woke that song up. But the police and the FBI sent us the letter and all that. That's what just threw it over the top right there. And then also MTV banned us from the Straight Outta Compton video. So a lot went into it besides just that one song. But it's hard to imagine that album without it.
And also, you guys had expressed yourself on that record as well. In my personal opinion, such a phenomenal song. You could really hear how early on Dre was in his career in that song, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, because think about it. He didn't rap on no songs except that one, and then on the last song of the album. That's it. He didn't rap very much. Maybe one other one with Ren, but he didn't do too many solos on that. He didn't start doing more rapping until the last album, in the 100 Miles and Running EP.
And speaking of 100 Miles and Running, man, like, that's one of my personal favorite songs that you guys actually ever did. And I was wondering if you could tell our listeners the story behind that amazing recording session, and of course, what was it like putting that song together? Because in my personal opinion, that song is a production masterpiece. From like just the drums, the ticking of the clock, like the way you guys put that together is a complete masterpiece.
Yeah, that one was a little work. I mean, we had to do the clock. We had to sync it up, and I forgot where we got the drums from, and it's just a totally different kind of beat. Really, it's been a long time since I heard it, but it's just totally different from all the other songs we did. That one might have took a little more work. It don't take long. It didn't take as long a day to do a song. Maybe that's all it really took. The day to do the song. Maybe sometimes the words are done in the same day, but that was a time-consuming a little bit song right there, because it wasn't just simple. There was breathing in it, all that had to be done by hand. Dre had to breathe, throughout the whole track. If I'm not mistaken, we probably sampled him breathing and synced it through, so it was some work on that one.
And even the music video is absolutely phenomenal as well, how you guys brought some humor into it. Because you guys were, like, obviously running from the FBI and whatnot. And I remember specifically in the music video, as you were running away, I remember you actually hid behind an individual that I think was a drag queen or something like that in the music video.
Yeah. It's supposed to have been just like like a like something like that. You know, but back then videos had meaning to them. All videos, not just ours, other groups. You know, but nowadays, you know, videos don't. There's nothing to them now. It's just a person rapping or whatever they doing. But yeah, we spent a lot of money on that video too. As a matter of fact, people don't really know this, but Dre actually hurt himself when he jumped over the fence. He actually landed wrong and hurt his knee, and you could see it in the shot afterward where he's limping. But that was really him limping for real. When he jumped on the back of that truck, he was really limping.
Well, I would ask if he's okay, but of course we already know it's been 30 plus years and Dr. Dre is still producing away, man. But I do want to say I feel bad that he hurt his knee, but he definitely kept on doing the video, man. Because I was wondering that as well in the music video. You could see him limping, but I just always thought it was maybe he was tired from running or something like that.
Yeah, he jumped over. I think it was him. He jumped over the brick wall or something. Yeah, he jumped over it and just landed funny. So we just kept on shooting. So we finished the video because that part was mostly shot live. So, because, videos and stuff are not shot in sequence. So they shot out of sequence.
And also as well, you guys actually have a humorous / nasty side to some of your guys' tracks, man. And one of my favorites in particular is Automobile. And I was always wondering, how did that legendary song come to be? And of course, did Priority Records have an issue with that song originally?
Nah, there was no issue. Matter of fact, I forgot. I played the drums on that song. I keep forgetting I played the drums on that song. That was a fun song. It was just, wow. It's just like, we sat there and just did it the way it was made. It was actually pretty fun. It just, wow. I forgot all about that song. Wow, you bringing back memories now. That was a fun song.
I'm gonna be honest though, Yella. When me and my wife first got together, I've been a huge N.W.A fan for most of my life. N.W.A fan most of my life. So when I first played that song, she was kind of like, "What the heck kind of you listening to, right?" But I actually got her into that song. Now we both drive down the road listening to that song, singing along. So I had to get her into it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's different. That was different.
Hey, but I gotta say, you know what? It's sometimes always good to have that humorous side to things as well, especially on a record that's just so conscious.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause think about it. We wasn't a political group. We wasn't like Public Enemy. They was political. We wasn't. We were just saying or seeing or talking about what we seen in the ghetto, Compton. When we opened our door, this is what we saw. We didn't rap about Disneyland and Mars and the moon. We rap what we've seen, what we've been through, or what we heard. That's what made ours so, well, people can believe it, because what we saw goes on everywhere. It's nothing different. It's just the city is named L.A., Watt, Compton. It's all the same, though. All the same. The ghetto's a ghetto.
And also as well, on N.W.A.'s second album, you guys actually did the song titled Always Into Something featuring dancehall artist Admiral D. I was wondering, how did you guys actually get connected with Admiral? And of course, what was it like having his dancehall sound on your guys' production work?
I liked it. I mean, it was different for us. Real different. It gave the song the flavor of it. I mean, he did all that stuff with one take. If I'm not mistaken. He didn't do punch-ins and all that. He did all that one take through the whole song. And it just added a different flavor for us. It really helped us out on that song. It really was different. Reggae feel, it just was different.
And I gotta say, you guys had phenomenal chemistry with Admiral as well. Like, I have to say, is he still doing his stuff today? Like, when's the last time you spoke with him? Because, like, I haven't even, heard anything new from him, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, the last time I heard from him was a day in the studio, so... and maybe, the last time I seen him was at the video shoot. That was it. I haven't seen him. That was the first time I seen him in the studio, then the second time on a video set, and that was it. I don't know anything else. I ain't heard nothing about. I don't even know if he ever did a record, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think so myself either. Like I was looking at his Discogs and whatnot, all that I saw was your guys' record and something else. So I was thinking maybe he just kind of
Oh,
jumped in, did a few things, and dipped out. But I'm kind of like, in my mind, it's like, why would you work on an N.W.A. record and then just stop doing your stuff, man? Like that's the hype right there.
yeah, and then come out with your own album or something. Yeah, that was the time to do something.
And also, as well, you were actually the main producer for the entire record, titled "Are You Experienced" by Yomo and Mulkey. I was wondering, what was it like working with that phenomenal duo in the studio? And of course, like, how did like Eazy-E actually land those guys on the label? Because those guys were phenomenal. It's a shame they only put out one duo album.
You know, the thing was, they was ahead of themselves so far. At that time couldn't catch up to them. Because I remember it was easy working with them. It was great working with them. They were phenomenal writers. You know, their topics was kind of more political, more like Public Enemy. You know, that kind of topic. But the thing, I think the one thing we didn't do was let them have cuss words on it. I remember I think me and he decided don't let them cuss. You know, to try to keep them clean, but they got caught up in red tape in the company for some reason. They did a couple of videos. I mean, I remember that was the first time I ever produced an album by myself. So, and I just went for what I knew. And think about it. The song For the Love of Money came from that album, from Bone Thugs. That's why I originally did it. It's on that song, on that album.
And the one thing I have to ask, did they have any issues with the fact that they weren't allowed to cuss, or were they completely fine with that?
No, it didn't bother them because they wouldn't have had very many cuss words anyway. And so it was just only a couple, so they didn't. It was worth not putting them on there. Not for one maybe on this album on the song or one or two. They didn't like us. They didn't cuss like us naturally and stuff. But it was. I'm trying to think where they came from because I think Yomo knew Q from school at Tab, where they went to school. I think they knew each other. And Marquis, I think all of them knew each other or something. So it was fun working on that album right there.
And before we move off the N.W.A. days, the one question I actually have is, because, a lot of individuals nowadays, unfortunately, they always, they kind of, sometimes they put Eazy in different portrayals, Some people think he's a gangsta and stuff like that because of the group. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners that aren't really familiar with Eazy-E, I should say Eric himself. What's one of your most fondest memories you shared with the late, great Eazy-E? Because I've heard some phenomenal stories that he was one of the nicest individuals you could possibly ever be around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was from the streets. That is for sure. He wasn't a gang member, but he was from the street, selling drugs and all that stuff. But he loved kids. He loved helping kids, donating to kids. I mean, that's his thing. He loved helping people. I mean, he was nice. I remember one time, and it's in my book, that he said, come ride with me, and I rode with him, and he went to a car lot, looking to have a new car. He said, you want one? I looked at him like, yeah. He said, which color you want? And then, that was a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I ain't never heard or had happen ever since. That was fun. And then being in the studio with him, because he wasn't a natural rapper. So doing his words in studio, it took a long time. We had to do line by line by line. Every verse had to be line by line. Everything was a punch in. So that was a wild thing to do right there. Because me and Dre would take turns. I'll record this vocal. He recorded the next verse. Because we knew it took a long time to do his voice, to do his words. So that was the fun of it, just being in the studio, having fun. It was fun with everybody. There was no problems ever, never no problem between the group.
And I have to ask ask as well, because when you said like word for word they had to record it, because I remember like they were doing like in the movie that's what you guys did with Boys in the Hood, but did it ever get easier for him throughout his career, or was it always the same way he did it with Boys in the Hood?
Well, he did line by line. He'd do the line, then he had to come back and do the next line, the next line. But later on, when the DLC started writing his stuff, he started getting it a little better. Now, if you was to pull up on him in rap, it's kind of rap battle, no, he ain't no rapper. But it was his sound, his voice is what did it. And what he was talking about, the lyrics. That's what made him, the look. And he got a little better. He had a second album. He started getting a little bit better. He can get more lines. Not the whole verse or nothing like that, no. He might get 2 or 3 lines. But that was good for him, so. But, yeah, it was fun, though.
And when you brought up the car a few moments ago as well, because I remember actually watching a video on YouTube a while back. I think it was an old interview you did. You actually talked about your first vehicle was a custom, I think it was a limited edition, like all-white interior and exterior car. Was that the one that Eazy-E got you, or was that a different vehicle?
Oh, no. That was after that car. After the one he bought me, and then I was driving down the street, and I seen a white, all pure white vet. And I just said, how much is that? And I just bought it right there. And I traded in the car that he bought. And then he talked about me, he said, man, go get your car. I had to go get my car back. So it was funny. But yeah, it was all white anniversary vet, 1988 vet. Pure white. White rims, white seats, everything.
I gotta say though, that would probably be worth a fortune now, like today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be quite a bit for that one.
And also as well, on March 26, 1996, you actually released your debut solo album titled One More End to Go. I was wondering, what made you decide to create a solo record? And of course, do you have any plans to actually release another one? Because I remember, I believe it was like 2011 or 12, I heard something about West Coastin', but I don't think it ever got released.
Yeah. Yeah, I never did anything. That was more just talk. I mean, I didn't want to do the first album, but a company approached me, Scotty Brothers, and, okay. You're talking about this one? Because once we had buried him in the ground, and the dirt was on him, and everybody was going from the cemetery, right then I said, I'm done with music. And I was done. Until a year later, when Scotty Brothers came around to, wanted me to do an album. I'm like, an album? I ain't no rapper. So I ended up doing that solo album. But at the same time, I also put together E's last album, and I also put together N.W.A.'s first greatest hit. All this was at the same time. I was doing my album. So I was working on 3 albums at one time. And it just, music, I just was done with it. That was it. That was it for me.
And I gotta say as well, I really actually enjoyed that album as well. I really think that Eric would be very proud of that record, man. You definitely really paid homage to him in that record, man. I just gotta say, in my personal opinion, will forever be the best album I ever heard.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to have it on CD, but I ended up losing it. But I'm still trying to track down another copy, but unfortunately nobody is willing to sell me a copy, so maybe one day I'll get lucky.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in years at all. Wow.
But also as well, man, N.W.A. actually became the 5th hip-hop act to actually join the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on April 8th, 2016. Looking back at everything you've done in your illustrious career, man, how does it feel to actually be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and of course, just being up there and accepting that prestigious award?
I mean, sometimes I have to remind myself, oh yeah, we are in the Hall of Fame. Because we never, like me and Dre, we never thought of being stars or anything like that. We felt more like stars in the Wreckin Cru days. Because we were the hottest DJs in the town. And it just felt like a star then. The Hall of Fame, that was like, wow, this is the highest you can get in music. And when we first started making records, we never even thought of a gold record, never thought of platinum, double, triple, never that, especially never thought of the Hall of Fame. So it was different, you know, because I took a selfie on stage right after we got the award. And, you know, everybody, I guess it went viral or something. But for that split second, in that one frame of picture, you can look at our faces. It was pure, genuine smile, like the old days, like 1989, all over. For that split second, there was no managers, no outsiders, no nothing. It was just us. And for that split second on stage, it felt like the old days. It was a one-of-a-kind feeling.
And I remember as well, when you guys actually got nominated, I remember actually voting multiple times for that. But I remember Gene Simmons giving you guys crap about that, man. That pissed me off, man, because I really do think that you guys, hip-hop deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the Hall of Fame is for records or albums that changed music, or that, you know, that was something, not just another regular old album. And I guess we changed music, hip-hop, a lot. I mean, I guess we created a style, you know, that's still going on today, which is amazing. But we were so far ahead of ourselves. And the funny thing is, we only had 2 albums. I don't think very many people in the Hall of Fame had only 2 albums. We only made 2 full albums and 1 EP. That's it. That's all it was.
The one thing I have to ask was, like, because I know you guys made N.W.A. and the Posse as well. Did you guys not, Rod? Did you guys classify that as a compilation?
That was a compilation. That was a compilation.
Okay.
Our priority just took that and made it into an album. That was in between our albums or something. So they just put that out. But that was a compilation Dre had made before N.W.A. really got together. It was just a compilation. That's all it was.
But I got to say as well, going back to when you said only 2 albums and you're in the Hall of Fame, when you really actually listen to your guys' discography, man, it definitely feels like a heck of a lot more than 2 albums. You know what I mean? It just the substance and the chemistry you guys bring to the table, it just feels so much longer than what it is.
I mean, think about Eazy-E, his first album. You know, it went double platinum, but that was just like an N.W.A. album. The thing was, 2 groups, instead of having 1 group, because if you look at Eazy's first album, that was N.W.A. all day. It looked like, just like it's all of us on the cover. We just split 1 group into 2 and made 2 different things. That's why, plus we produced all the stuff, and all the stuff was going gold and platinum, you know, right after another. So it looked like we did a whole bunch. So the N.W.A. only did the 2 albums, 1 EP. And then a couple of singles before Straight Outta Compton album. That's it. That's all.
And also as well, in 2018, yourself, Playboy T, and Lil Eazy-E went across Canada for the Boys in the Hood Canada tour. I was wondering, what was it like actually touring the Great White North? And what was one of your favorite cities that you actually happened to hit? Because I heard a lot of individuals say they always loved touring Canada.
Yeah, I mean, Canada, you know, I forgot something to say, the big city, Toronto, the East, but then the West Coast, like, what's the city start with a V? I can't think of the name.
Oh, Vancouver?
Yeah, that was fun. Then all around there, I mean, doing shows with Little E is like doing shows with his dad, because he sounds like him. He makes words on the record just like him. He's short just like him. I mean, it reminds me of his dad. I mean, exactly. Same characteristics. I mean, the same characteristics. And when he died, you know, he was young when his daddy died, so it's amazing how his daddy's characteristics are in him like that.
And I gotta say as well, I was actually at the Ottawa show you actually did at the Algonquin College theater, man. And I gotta say, I was front row watching Little Eazy-E doing his thing, and just like you said, man, I couldn't believe it. I ended up looking at my wife, and I'm like, am I looking at his son, or is Eazy-E resurrected here? Because I mean, it was just a spinning image.
Yeah, yeah. He just like him. It's amazing. I mean, his hands, his manner, he sounds just like his dad. But his brother, E3, sounds more like his dad, rapping-wise. But talking-wise, little E sounds like his dad. And looks just like him. He looks like a hologram walking all the time.
Does it ever trip you out sometimes? Like, does it ever catch you off guard, just being like, damn, man, like, it's so surreal, like, you remind me of Eric?
No, not really. Not since the first time we went to Paris, and he was asleep, and I just looked at him like, wow, he looked just like his daddy. I'm like, wow. It's just like, it's amazing.
And before we move off this topic, I just want to say as well, Yella, thank you so much for just coming to Canada and just blessing some of the smaller cities along the way, man. Because when I was young, I always wanted to see you guys live perform. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I didn't get the full N.W.A, but I got to be able to shake your hand and meet Lil Eazy-E that night. So I just want to say thank you for just blessing Canada.
And what city was that?
That was in Ottawa where I met you.
Ottawa, yeah, Ottawa. We did places like Moncton, smaller places.
I'm pretty sure you met a lot of people that, like, during that tour, but I was that weird white guy that couldn't talk to you. You know what I mean? I was really choked up. But I just got to say thank you for that, though, Yella. Honestly, it really was an amazing night, and I'm not gonna lie, you definitely can scratch the shit out of a club, man.
I try.
But also, June 14th, man, of this year, you actually dropped your own book titled Straight Outta Compton, My Untold Story. I was wondering, man, what actually made you decide to write such a phenomenal masterpiece of a book? And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves a copy today for the listeners that don't already know about this phenomenal book?
It's entitled Straight Outta Compton, My Untold Story. It's on Amazon, ebooks or paperback, which you can get in Canada. I guess they ship Amazon in Canada. Or if you want exclusive autographed ones, you can go to my website, djyellaofnwa.com. And I've already been sending them to Canada, all over Europe, Australia, Sweden, Switzerland, everywhere. I mean, the book, I did it took a year and a half, so I did it over the whole pandemic for some reason. I never wanted to write a book. I never even thought of it. It was just, something told me to do it, and I did it. But I never even read a book before, a novel or anything. Never. Not at all. Never opened one. But it's just amazing that I wrote it. 93,000 words. Amazing.
And I gotta ask, now that you had a taste of actually writing a book, do you think you might do a follow-up book, maybe strictly on the Wreckin Cru days, or maybe, life after N.W.A?
Nah, I doubt it. Just the one. That's it. That's all I needed to do, because I told so much in it. I went from before the Wreckin Cru, during the Wreckin Cru, the breakup, everything, then the N.W.A, the break, all that stuff. So I went through the whole life story.
And I gotta say as well, I ordered my book there on Amazon. I'm still waiting for it to come with this because we're still in the whole dealing with the COVID stuff down here in Canada, so it's slowly making its way here. So hopefully I can finally crack that book open. I've been itching for it.
Oh, yeah. I want you to email me after you read it and tell me what you think.
I most definitely will. I told my wife once I get it, I probably will be incapacitated for a while till I finish the book. I won't be able to stop.
Yeah, 329 pages, so it's going to take a minute.
But I got to ask you,
but
though,
it's got a lot of rare pictures in it, stuff like that, so...
I got to ask, are they actually unreleased photos, or were they photos that were kind of out there before?
Some of them, a lot of my personal photos wasn't out there. A lot of, I didn't put in the regular, like, studio shots that the group did, and I didn't put them pictures. I put stuff that was taken, I had. So there's a bunch in there that's rare. very rare. Like Easy's last picture, that's a rare one with me and him. I think that was his actually last picture, period. I haven't seen one after that. And that was in like December of 1994.
Was that the one that you guys took there at the convention?
No, this is before the convention. We didn't take one at the convention. It was at he gave me a birthday party in December before the convention. And I haven't seen another picture out there after that. So I think that's the last picture he took, public picture-wise.
But I gotta ask you, Yella, what is next for you? Because obviously, you know, you're pushing this book, you know what I mean? You're sending this book all over the world right now. But after the hype of the book, like, what else is next for you? Are you gonna continue touring, or are you just gonna put your feet up?
Well, I was DJing all around the world, you know, up until the pandemic stopped. I mean, I've been to like probably 100 countries, maybe, at least, over the past 4 years. So I might get back to DJing. I might, depends on, you know, got a quarantine. I ain't doing all that. But I'll probably do a lot of colleges and universities for Q&As about the book. And I have a movie script already made, and maybe a TV series, something will come out of this book. So I'm still in the works of some stuff.
I gotta say, hopefully the Q&A comes to Canada, because I would love to actually just be able to come and do some follow-up questions with you, man, just about this phenomenal book.
You know, I did one on the East Coast in Toronto. I did one. I can't think of the university, but I did one already. But that was in 2019. So once all the stuff lifts, I'm going to do mostly Q&As and stuff like that. Talks, you know, at the colleges and stuff like that. Maybe some DJing, but not as much.
But also, DJ Yella, so this is the time in the interview quickly, right before I wrap things up, man, that I just give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give, like, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. But most of all, man, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything DJ Yella of N.W.A. if they're not already doing so. But, like I said, you're the man, DJ Yella, so I really hope these individuals are already following you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, DJ Yella of N.W.A., that's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I don't really do Twitter, but I had it, but I never go on Twitter, so it's usually Instagram and Facebook. And then they can order the book at Amazon or get the autographed copy from DJ Yella of N.W.A.com. They get, I sent quite a few to Canada already, the autographed book, so I'm waiting to see a picture of people actually opening and getting it, because a lot of people have been sending pictures of them, you know, the autographs. So it's crazy to see a person way across the states or something that got your book that I mailed. I sign them. I personally sign them and number them. So it's no kind of little stamp or nothing. I do it all by hand.
And I gotta say as well, Yella, just quickly, man, I do want to say just thank you for years of amazing music. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're the reason why I wanted to become a DJ and why I first got into, you know, scratching and getting turntables and whatnot. So I just want to say on behalf of myself and fans worldwide, thank you for just sparking a nation and inspiring so many individuals. I thank you so much for that, because like, and honestly, you're the individual that made me who I want to be today. So thank you for that, Yella.
Well, I thank you for even. Thank you for everything, for having me on tonight. You know, so it's cool. I mean, I haven't done very many interviews lately, but you one of the first. One of the first. One of three, I think. I haven't did too many. I don't do the interviews that much, but I guess I have to now because the book is out, so I got to get back on the ball.
But I do want to say I appreciate your time, Yella. I really do. Like, this book looks absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, I can't wait till mine comes so I can get my hands on it. But you know what? Just hearing a little bit more. I think after this interview, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little bit more excited now. So hopefully it gets here on Monday, because you know the anticipation is really killing me now.
Yeah. Just drop me a line and tell me what you thought about it.
Most definitely I will. I want to say, Yella, again, thank you so much, and definitely have yourself a wonderful night, and congratulations on this phenomenal book, because I already know it's definitely going to hit the New York Times bestseller.